Hello, my name is Sean, and today I'll be covering Red Cipher. To start off with, this is one of the colors, the first color in the color cipher series. And what we're going to do is I'm going to record information off the screens. So this top screen of the first page here, you notice there's a page number in the bottom right, and these arrows cycle through the pages. There's only 2 pages. So the top screen of the first page is our encrypted word that we're going to need to decrypt using the steps below. So XIBTRZ. Now, this middle screen, at least the letters on the middle screen here, is just in case if there's any J's in the top screen of the first page in our encrypted word. Now, if there are any J's, such as, let's see, if I do LIPVAI, if there was a J here, I would replace this J with the same, at least at the same position that it is in our middle screen word, or middle screen letters here. So this J would be replaced with an L. Or if this was a J, this J would be replaced with an A. Except there's no J's whatsoever, so we don't need this middle screen. And the next thing is we're going to need these words. And each of these words is a keyword. So the first keyword references the top screen, so it's impair. The second keyword is the middle screen. And our third keyword is the bottom screen, eclipse.
Emergency cleared. All personnel, please return to your stations.
Thank you very much, voice text. So, now that we got our, words here, what we're going to do is we're going to follow the steps below here. Now, our first step is going to be Playfair cipher. And for this step, we're going to use keyword 1 to create the first matrix. So, keyword 1 is the top screen, as you refer. So, we're going to use this word in particular. First, we're going to replace any J's with I's in the keyword, which there are no J's, so that's good. Then we're going to remove any duplicates in the keyword, so each letter occurs only once. So there's one I, one M, one P, one A. There's an extra I there, and that's an R. So all I did was I removed an extra I in that case. And you remove any second occurrences, not any first occurrences. If there was a second occurrence of I, you would remove that I. And if it was a third occurrence of I, you would remove that I, obviously. So, next thing is we need the alphabet. A, B, C. But this alphabet is going to be A to Z with the exclusion of J, because no J's is ever used in this cipher. So I'm going to copy this alphabet. And what we're going to do next is we're going to remove any occurrences of the letters in our current key right now. So we're going to remove any I's, M, P, A, and R. Now, if the first digit of the serial number is odd, which it isn't odd, so otherwise place the alphabet at the beginning of our key. So this alphabet will be placed right in front, like so. And then we're going to split it off into a 5x5 matrix. So this is going to be here, 3, and here. And 5x5 matrix just means 5 rows of 5 columns of letters that we used with our key here. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, the next thing to do is to split our encrypted word into pairs of letters, 3 pairs to be exactly. And for each pair of letter, we're going to follow its 7 instructions, such as we're going to find these pair of letters inside of our matrix. So it's our first letter is here, and our second letter is here. If the 2 letters are exactly the same, no. If the letters appear in the same row, no. If the letters are in the same column, no. Otherwise, we're going to replace each with the letter on the same row, but in the column of the other letter in the original pair. So we're going to, for the X here, we're going to be in the same row as the X, but in the same column as the letter I. So this would translate to V. And then I is going to go in the same row here, but the same column as the X, so I gets turned into P. Okay, moving on. B and T are over here. They're not in the same row, same column, and they're not the same letters, so we're going to do the same thing that we did for the XI. So from the B, we're going to go towards the column of the T, which is right over here, so B gets replaced with E. And then starting from the T here in the same row, but in the same column as the B, the T gets replaced with an O. Finally, R and Z. R and Z are actually in the same column. And what happens in that, if they're in the same column, we're going to replace them with the letters immediately above, wrapping around to the bottom. So this R gets replaced with a Z, and this Z gets replaced with a U. And that is our new encrypted word. Now, just to take care of some other examples, such as if they were in the same row, such as, I'll take O and S, okay? If we had the pairs of O and S, they're obviously in the same row here in our matrix. And for that, we're going to go to the letters immediately to the left, wrapping around to the right side of the row. So this O would get replaced with a U. And this S gets replaced with a Q. And now, if they were exactly the same, such as it was two E's or two F's, doesn't matter. If they were exactly the same, you would just keep them as is. So you wouldn't change them at all. So 2 G's would still be 2 G's. And that is Playfair cipher. Now, on to our second step. Second step is a conjugated matrix Bifid. Yeah, that's quite a bit of a word cipher there. Now for this, we're going to need 2 matrices. And to create our second matrix, we'll be using keyword 2 right here. So we have wild. We're going to replace any J's with I's, which we don't have any J's. Then we're going to remove any duplicates. We have, well, this word has unique characters in all of it. Then we're going to take our alphabet, excluding the J, and remove all letters of occurrences in it that's in the keyword. So that's going to be a W, I, L, and D. Then, if the second digit of the serial number is even, which the second digit is definitely even, we're going to add the alphabet to the end of the keyword. And in such case, you put it after the keyword as opposed to before the keyword. And then we're going to split it off into a 5x5 matrix. Now, for each letter of our encrypted word here, we're going to find our letter in the second matrix. And we're going to record the row, then the column of where it is in that matrix. So the V is in the 5th row in the second column. And we're going to do this for each letter. So our P is right there. That's going to be a 4th row, 1st column. E is over here, so that's going to be 2nd row, 3rd column. O is in the 3rd row, 5th column. Z is in the 5th row, 5th column. And finally, U is going to be in the 5th row, 1st column. Alright, then we're going to take our 4th to 6th pairs of numbers, and we're going to place it below our 1st and 3rd pairs of numbers. So, like so. And then I'm going to remove any spaces here. And now we're going to read these numbers top to bottom, left to right. So we're going to read them 5, 3, 2, 5, 4, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 1. Treating these as our new row/column pairs. And we're going to use these for, well, at least indication here, the 5th row and 3rd column in our first matrix as opposed to our second matrix. So the 5th row, 3rd column in our first matrix is going to translate to P. Then 2nd row, 5th column is an N. fourth row, fifth column is going to be a Z. First row, fifth column is going to be F. Second row, fifth column going to be N. And third row, first column going to be O. And that is our new encrypted word. Our last cipher is known as tri-square cipher. And this step is going to require 3 matrices. Now we're going to definitely be using our first and second matrix as used before, and we're going to create our third matrix using our third keyword. We're first going to remove or replace any J's with I's. There's no J's in this. So then we're going to remove any duplicates. There's a duplicate E, so I'm going to remove that. Then we're going to take our alphabet here and going to remove all occurrences. So E, C, L, I, PS. And then if the last digit of the serial number is odd, which it is in this case, add the alphabet to the end of keyword 3. So we're going to add it to the after the keyword as opposed to before. Then we're going to split it up into a 5 by 5 matrix, and we got our 3 matrices. Now we're going to split up our encrypted word here that we've been decrypting into letter pairs. And for each letter pair, for the first letter, we're going to find it in matrix 3. And this letter will be basically the row of this letter is going to be the row in our first matrix. So first row is going to be first row in the first matrix, and the column used in this, in the column of this letter will be used in our second matrix. And I'll just buff everything down here. So fifth column of that letter will be the fifth column of our second matrix. Then for our second letter, the row of this letter in our third matrix is going to be the same row as our second matrix. Okay? And then the column used for the second letter will be the column used for our first matrix. So fifth column for the first matrix. And then we're going to take the intersection of the first matrix first, so that'll be the fifth column, first row, would be an F. And that'll guess our first decrypted letter. And then we're going to take the second intersection here, it's the intersection in our second matrix. So that's going to be third row, fifth column. And that's going to give us our second decrypted letter. And we're going to continue this with all these letters. So we're going to find Z here. So Z is going to be the fifth row of our first matrix and fifth column for our second matrix. And then for the F here, let's see, find F somewhere in here. F is right there. So this F would reference, let's see. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. So I'll be fifth column over here. And the F is second row. So that'll be here. Okay? Now I take the intersection of our first matrix. So that's going to be an R. And the intersection of our second matrix. So that's going to be a G. And finally, N and O. So this is going to be, third row is going to be our first matrix, fifth column going to be our second matrix. And then the O is over here, so that's going to be the first column of our first matrix. O, and the fourth row right here. So then we're going to take our intersection of the first matrix, so that's going to be an O. And the intersection of our second matrix, and that is going to be a T. And our word, our finally decrypted word, is forgot. Now, when you start typing using the keyboard that's down here, okay, mouse, My mouse really likes to do this to me. So, future apologies and what is about to happen anyway. So, to start submitting our answer, we're going to use our keyboard to type out our word here. So, Forgot, and that will start erasing any of the words that are up here, and etc. And our button, at least our page number, will turn into a submit button. So the second I press the submit button, it will submit whatever answer that you have. To clear out any answer, you can press any of these keyboards, just in case you've made a mistake. So Forgot. There. And notice it only inputs 6. If you try to type it any more other than 6, it won't type anything else to it. So I'm going to submit this answer. And that is a soft module. I hope all of you enjoyed this tutorial. And until next time, guys, keep talking and don't explode.